podcast is not really a political show, except for Kelly and I were having a conversation, and apparently you have an experience with Jeffrey Epstein himself. You were the second madam. She's laughing. You belong in jail, Kelly.
Are you kidding me? How good am I at keeping secrets? Can you imagine a worse person for that job?
Release the list, Kelly.
Honestly, Kelly, I'd
be like, okay, great. Here it is, everybody.
We drop it on the show.
I've got PDF. I've got printed copies.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I would be texting it. I would post it. No, nothing. That's how you know I've never been involved in anything super nefarious, because everybody would know about it if I was, because I am not sneaky.
Well, you truly
I have no skills.
You are tangentially connected, at least somewhat, to...
I am tangentially. Well, okay. I know I'm not supposed to mention other podcasts, but I really can't help it. So Jesse Michaels, American Alchemy, he gets really incredible interviews, partially because he has the funding of Peter Thiel, which really helps in terms of getting interviews. But he actually does some really great coverage of different UFO topics. And apparently he's been a thing for a number of years, and I am really slow on the uptake. So I'm just now digging into his stuff. His new episode this week is very connected to Epstein, but Epstein and specifically scientific anti-gravity UFO stuff, because he was very involved with a number of physicists specifically, and I think there's the implication that really super entrenched science folk might be repressed in some ways, and he was using that as a way to exploit information and get information from them.
Well, sometimes I think that it's actually a little bit of both, because I was listening to an interview with Eric Weinstein about his only...
God, I hate him, but he's really smart.
Yeah, he's a dumb, bad guy, but he's also smart.
Well, his brother's bad, right?
Brett's pretty bad.
I don't know if he's bad.
Eric's pretty bad,
His brother's bad.
Yeah, they're both bad.
Is he? See, other than the blood relation, I don't have enough evidence on...
They're both pretty bad, but
he's an asshole in interviews. I know that. He's very abrasive.
Well, he was talking about his only experience that he had in a meeting with Jeffrey, and that Jeffrey was more interested in science than anything else, not anything to do with finance. So, I think that...
Well, yeah, he didn't understand, finance really... Okay, so part of the interesting thing that I think a lot of people are talking about this week, so there are actually two small connections. So he was a teacher at this really expensive private school in New York called the Dalton School. Mm-hmm. I work with some students who go to the Dalton School, and I thought that was weird when I heard that.
And you got them in because...
And then... No, I didn't get them in. Are you kidding me? I don't have skills.
Release the list.
Getting them in is you give them money, and I don't have money.
Well...
So... There was this very interesting program that was called Davos for teens. I mean, was what it was described at. It was actually called Adventures with the Mind, and it would run every 2 years, and they would bring together all of these really incredible people. The co-founder of Pixar would be there, and Naomi Judd was there before she died, and the guy that Beautiful Mind was about. He was there, and they had all these Nobel Prize winning physicists.
And you were there too?
So I worked for a foundation that donated money to this and would send a number of teenagers to each iteration. The idea was they were really targeting smart kids that wouldn't otherwise have such an opportunity. It's a very cool idea. And so for a number of years, I would go and I would attend these, and there was one I went to that was held in Atlanta, and actually it was based at Morehouse College, which is a historically Black college, phenomenal school in Atlanta. It's history tied to it. Actually, the only church service I've ever actually enjoyed was going to a church service attached to that event. Anyhow, one night when all of the folks, the presenters, the smart genius guests were gathering for a party, I was having cocktails with the guy that runs the dig at Giza, a gentleman by the name of Mark Lerner.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Zahi Hawass, but that's Egypt, right?
No, he's just... Giza is in Egypt, but he knows Zahi very well. But this guy's actually the archaeologist, and he had to work with Zahi. But he was like the head Egyptologist, and he ran the dig for years and years and years. I think he still is involved. But Byron, we're going to have a discussion about him at some point because he started out like he's actually a legit archaeologist, but he started out funded by the Edgar Cayce Foundation.
Okay.
And that's how he ended up there. Another topic, but anyhow, of course, because I was 23 and 23-year-old Kelly in this situation talking with the guy who understands Egyptology.
Why don't you paint a picture of 23-year-old you? What were you into? Is this Kelly's Sex in the City era? Is this is after?
I mean, I was into basically the exact same things that I'm into now, minus having kids.
So you might.
So imagine if I've got this Egyptologist guy,
okay,
and I'm having cocktails at this like gathering with him. What do you think I'm going to ask him about? The face on Mars, obviously.
There we go.
Does the face on Mars? And so, like, I literally have this guy that is the head archaeologist, and he was very polite and kind to me and told me that it was absolute bullshit. Then I argued with him for a while. And then this old dude comes up, really, really old dude. Like, I don't know how old he was, but you know how some people when they're old even look older? Like, he looked like he was 95. He was probably in his 80s, but he looked like he was even older. And his name was Murray Gell-Mann. Okay? And it turns out that he was actually really good friends with Cormac McCarthy, the author.
Oh, sure. My fave.
Okay, so Cormac, he's an amazing author. So this is like my philosophy. This is one thing that's different about me now than me when I was 23. I'm big into like don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. Because like Cormac McCarthy was probably a pretty fucking creepy dude.
Yeah, he's a freak.
And yet he wrote really incredible art. Like his books are truly art, in my opinion, at least. But he didn't hang out with authors. He only hung out with scientists. And Murray Gell-Mann was one of his very good friends. And so I was talking to Murray Gell-Mann about physics, and because he did have, I think, at least one Nobel Prize in physics. So we were having a chit chat about physics. We were talking about actually the idea of time travel and traveling faster than the speed of light. And it was like 3 glasses of wine in at this point. So I don't know exactly what I was asking him, but I was smart enough to know that, like, okay, Kelly,
you're on a date right now.
Well, no, like, so it's like this big gathering, right? And I'm like, okay, I'm going to like start, nobody gets promoted at the company party, right? Like I'm going to start saying really stupid shit. So I'm just going to go to bed. And so like I go and get in the elevator to go to bed. By the way, this is in the first 6 months that I was dating Sam.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so like I had called Sam earlier in the day, and Sam was out on some, I don't know, like gun shooting thing with friends in the woods. And I was trying to catch up with him later that night.
Never heard that before.
Huh.
Yeah, it was, yeah. So I was trying to, there you go. I was also trying to like get a hold of Sam before I like passed out, because my like 3 glasses of wine, like once I hit 4, like I'm just asleep. And I'm like, I promised this guy, like,
and
I really like him. I promised him I was going to call.
The math equation.
It is not.
It's a BAC equation.
Okay.
Oh my God. Anyhow, so I go to get in the elevator, like I bowed out of these conversations, go to get in the elevator. And this old dude, like, literally is like speed hobbling behind me with his cane and like gets into the elevator with me.
The cane slides in between the closing doors.
Yeah.
No, like actually though, like legitimately, that's what happened.
Oh no.
Like actually. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. And he's like trying to continue the conversation with me. And at this point, I'm like, okay, like what a weird nerdy dude. And I was kind of zoned out because I'm like eye on the prize of like, I am going to bed. I need to call this cute guy and go to sleep. And he's just following me. It was really kind of awkward, but he's also like hunched over, shorter than me, and like 197 years old. And so I'm like not legitimately threatened in any way. And it actually didn't even click with me that there was like
A California honey drop going on.
yeah, that there was a California honey drop going on. That's actually exactly right. That's a really good point. So I get out of the elevator, go to my hotel room door, and I'm like opening the door and like continuing to try and be like, okay, that's awesome. Like we should talk about this tomorrow morning. That'd be so great. Oh, yes, I love aliens. Yeah. And he's literally
aliens.
trying to push his way into my hotel room.
Oh no.
Oh man,
And I'm
he still
like,
got it. He
I'm
thinks.
really sorry. Like, and that's when it finally clicked with me. It was not until then that I was like, oh, this guy's like actually being creepy right now. Like, it didn't even dawn on me until then. And I was like, yeah, I really need to get to sleep. Like, I'm so sorry. I need you to leave. Like, leave your cane and foot out of my door. And like, I had to close the door, like basically in his face in a really rude way, like kind of push the old man out of the way and close the door and lock the door. And then this week I'm watching the trailer for Jesse Michaels' show, and he's talking about 3 specific scientists that Epstein had a really close connection with and flew all over the place and like likely exploited their, you know, sexual proclivities in order to get information about space travel and anti-gravity and, you know, aliens. So I would imagine that Jeffrey probably had very similar conversations with Murray Gell-Mann, minus the part about him following him to his hotel room. But instead, Jeffrey would be like, hey, so I got this lady in a hotel room for you. Tell me more, and you can go hang out with this lady in the hotel room. But this was one of the 3 guys that Jesse mentioned. And so I was watching the trailer. I was like, Murray Gell-Mann, you are kidding me. And that's my Murray Gell-Mann story.
That's wild.
Wow, and that's how you got brought into the fold.
Yeah. And you were doing...
Yeah. First of all, I was 23, so I had long aged out of anything that Epstein was dabbling in.
Oh, no.
You would be the person to go talk to these younger
we're saying that you're...
Oh, you're right. I
Pam
would have been
Bondi's
the
neighbors.
Jesus.
Right, but he knew immediately that I could not keep a secret because I was the crazy lady that was asking about faces on Mars, time travel, and aliens.
Well, but then they know that you're unreliable. If anything did go down, they'd be like, yeah, she's clearly crazy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
well,
you're the disinfo agent. That's pretty cool. That's horrifying, Kelly. I'm really glad that you didn't... Oh, that is why you're on the flight log, says Siggy Pudding. Great. I wasn't going to bring it up, but the flight logs, we are out of Patreon money to try to...
You can't keep... Yeah.
We keep Venmoing Pam Bondi.
Yeah. Dershowitz got a big old retainer.
Yeah, so very cool, very exciting, and clearly Kelly is the bad person on the podcast. I just want to say that.
But
you work with her.
That is true.
And I work with both of you.
We're in a lot of trouble.
It sucks.
This does suck.
Thanks for tuning in still.
Yeah, I mean, I just to be like, I definitely don't think I was ever actually in danger, but if Epstein had been involved, I would have been in danger because I mean, like, trying to physically like push off a 189-year-old man with a cane is actually pretty easy. But what was weird to me, it was like one of those complete clueless moments where like
what's incredible,
it really didn't even dawn on me that there was a creepy intention.
How old he is. Like, he has so much science behind him that he's 189 years old.
That's wild.
You probably could have figured out like immortality had you just gone with it.
He's dead now. He's dead now.
Speaking of dead people, Kelly,
you could have been further along than him. You know,
speaking of dead folks.
But for the record, Byron, I do still have the opportunity. We really need to talk to. Okay, so he was 90 when he died. It was like he was in his 80s. Yeah, he was in his 80s. But Byron, sorry to fuck up your segue. But the guy that like is in charge of the dig at Giza, they did find the chamber under the Sphinx finally.
Good.
I mean, it's been talked about forever, but now it's been like acknowledged by mainstream science.
It's a kitty litter.
And so we really should see if we could get a call with Mark Lerner.
Okay, Mark
if we try and trick him into thinking that there are people who do funding that listen to us, because the poor guy just has to do funding constantly because there's never any money because, you know, people are too busy funding how Peter Thiel can live an extra 17 months by drinking somebody's blood, so there's not money left.
Brian Johnson's blood. He should try that one.
That would be.
He's friends with Brian.
Well, they should.
He's friends with Brian.
Figure that out because Thiel could own him. He could be his
Thiel
blood
could definitely
boy.
own him.
Oh,
yeah, but the problem is Thiel has ascertained that there really isn't that much to be gained from that specific kind of blood.
Maybe we should address this really quick.
You might as well do it.
Everyone's saying, Lindsay says, it wasn't rude if he was being a creep, you pushing him out of the room. And then AB also said, isn't it? Why does Kelly think pushing someone, trying to keep someone from getting into her room is rude? And I think we should address that really quick.
I think that I'm channeling my 23-year-old self. Like right now, I wouldn't think that was rude at all.
Of course not. Yeah.
But channeling my 23-year-old self, like there's this sweet old man, and he has a Nobel Peace Prize or a Nobel Prize in physics, and he's like kind enough to talk about aliens with me, and I feel bad. But there was definitely like a survival instinct part that kicked in that was like, no, you need to like push him away and close the door. So I think very fair point, and I appreciate what you guys are saying there. I think that it's just, I'm not polite a lot of the time, and I feel bad about it sometimes when I'm not. But I think it was a very key example for me of like following your gut instinct as soon as you feel like something's off. Maybe once in a while you might be wrong about that gut feeling, but most of the time you're going to be right.
Well, if you are wrong, it's not as
you can
bad.
always apologize later.
On the side of caution.
Yeah,
sure.
I think
Absolutely.
that definitely. So
it's better to be rude than to be hard,
and it's better to be alive than dead.
Talk about this. Pennsylvania State Police say a paranormal expert died of natural causes after making a stop in Gettysburg, all while touring with the Annabelle doll. It's supposed